Привет, my dear Gemeins! I'm happy to see you on my channel. In lesson 51, we discussed the past tense of imperfective verbs. Today, we're going to discuss the past tense of perfective verbs. As usual, at the end of the lesson, you will have the opportunity to apply your knowledge and practice. Let's get started. I have good news for you. The rules for forming the past tense of perfective verbs are exactly the same as for imperfective verbs. You should remember that the perfective past indicates that the action was completed. Let's see how exactly we form the past tense of perfective verbs. If you remember from lesson 51, we need to remove the t from the infinitive or dictionary form of a perfective or imperfective verb and replace it with l. After that, we need to adjust the ending to agree with the gender and number of the subject. If the subject is in the singular masculine form, we replace t with l. For example, number 1. Он сделал уроки. If the subject is in the singular feminine form, we replace t with la. Number 2. Она сделала уроки. If the subject is in the singular neuter form, we replace t with lo. For example, number 3. Оно прибыло на землю. If the subject is in the plural form, we replace t with ли. Number 4. Они прибыли на землю. Now I would like to show you an interesting case. It's a verb that unfortunately doesn't follow this rule. В 1893 году он умер от холеры. As you can see, this verb doesn't have l at the end in the past tense. The good thing is, it follows the rule when we want to form the singular feminine, neuter, or plural form. We have to replace not t with la, lo, or li, but еть. Let's see how it works. Умереть is the infinitive form. It's a perfective verb. Я умер, if a man says it. Я умерла, if a woman says it. Ты умер, when we address a man. Ты умерла, when we address a woman, informal. Он умер. Она умерла. Оно умерло. Мы умерли. Вы умерли. When we address a person or people, formal. Они умерли. Unfortunately, the exception to the rule exists. But usually verbs follow the rule. You'll encounter more and more verbs like this in the future and become more and more experienced. Now a piece of advice is to use a dictionary to know for sure whether a verb is an exception or not. Let's have a look at 3 typical examples of the use of the perfective aspect in the past tense. Number 1. We use the perfective aspect for completed single events. For example, A. Мы сделали уроки. B. Он написал музыку к балетам «Щелкунчик», «Лебединое озеро», «Спящая красавица». Number 2. When we have a sequence of actions that are not repeated, we use the perfective aspect because each action must be completed before the next one starts. For example, A. Студенты прочитали задание и выполнили его. Number 3. When we use the negation word «не», the perfective aspect shows that something wasn't done. For example, A. Он не сделал уроки. You should remember that when you use the perfective aspect, it means there is a result from the action. In all the sentences I've just given you, there is a result. It can be good or bad, successful or not, visible or invisible, but we have it. And because we have a result, we understand that the action was completed. For example, он написал музыку к балетам. With the help of the perfective verb написал, we understand that this music exists and we can listen to it. Now it's time for practice. Exercise 1. I'm going to tell you a story about my sisters and my trip to Orlando, Florida. You need to put the verbs in parentheses into the past tense. The story consists of 7 sentences. As there isn't enough space on one slide, I decided to use several slides for this story. Don't forget to pause the video after every slide to give yourself time to think. Let's get started. Now let's check your answers. Number 1. Моя сестра и я были в Орландо прошлым летом. Number 2. Я прокатилась на различных аттракционах. Number 3. Мне очень понравился парк «Острова приключений». Number 4. Я попила чай в тематическом кафе. Number 5. Я сделала много красивых фотографий и посетила много интересных мест. Number 6. Я ничего не купила в этом парке. Number 7. В 9 часов вечера я вернулась в отель. Exercise 2. As I have already mentioned, I was in this park with my sister. In my story, I used the singular first-person pronoun я. Now retell my story using the pronoun they, они, since I was there with my sister. For example, они были в Орландо прошлым летом. You can see the whole story, so it will be more comfortable for you to do this exercise. Don't forget that you need to change all the pronouns to они, they, and in one place to их. Also, don't forget to change the endings of the verbs. Let's get started. Pause the video here to give yourself time to think. Now check your answers. Number 1. Они были в Орландо прошлым летом. Number 2. Они прокатились на различных аттракционах. Number 3. Им очень понравился парк «Острова приключений». Number 4. Они попили чай в тематическом кафе. Number 5. Они сделали много красивых фотографий и посетили много интересных мест. Number 6. Они ничего не купили в этом парке. Number 7. В 9 часов вечера они вернулись в отель. That is all for today. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you found this lesson helpful. I was happy to see you on my channel. See you next time. Пока!